Thaddeus, they say your favorite VC. So we're talking Heliogen, Airbnb, Lyft, Lime. Oh, you got Pinterest too. Jesus, man.
Honestly, it's super fun. It's a super fun business model, business tool. It's very risky, obviously.
You ever compare venture portfolios with KD? You never joke about like, I got more unicorns in the portfolio than you do.
We never get into that.
While you're saluting these guys, I got to salute you for sticking it at 17 years, man. Uncle Thaddeus out here still thriving, man.
The biggest thing is just continuously working. I love the game, and when I start to lose love for the game, then that's when I start shifting away from it.
Why would an entrepreneur or a company take Thaddeus Young and Reform Ventures money? What do y'all bring to the table? Let's go, baby. We're back from our hiatus. I know you've been waiting on another pod, man. We're here in June. It's June 18th. If you're listening to the podcast, we're right here in June 18th, 2024. And if you're listening outside of June, welcome back. This is the Athletes and Assets podcast. I'm your host, Noah Lack, and I bring on your favorite athletes to chat about a business topic. Today, we got my guy, Thaddeus Young, Georgia Tech alum, 17-year NBA veteran, just came off another season with the Phoenix Suns, and the founder of Reform Ventures. Thaddeus, they say your favorite VC?
No. I'm just out here having fun, man, and trying to make some of these investments that everybody else is making. Trying to do the right thing and make the right moves. That's all.
Thaddeus, man, let's skip the small talk. I'm gonna ask you a little trivia here.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Can you handle this trivia question?
I'll try my best.
What school? So the founder of Walmart, Waffle House, AT&T, and MailChimp. These guys all went to the same school, university. Do you know which school it is?
Is it in the South?
Yes, it is in the South.
Is it Arkansas?
It is not Arkansas.
It's not? Okay.
Would you like to guess again?
You said this is the founder of who?
We got Walmart, Waffle House, AT&T, and MailChimp.
Is that Georgia Tech?
Where did they go to school?
Is it my school?
Yes,
Georgia
sir.
Tech? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You said Walmart. That threw me off a little bit. Walmart. They have some of I think some of them went to Arkansas.
Yeah, there might be a mix there.
Yep.
Okay, there might be a mix there. I saw that and I was like, there's some real incredible entrepreneurs that come from Georgia Tech, man. What's in the water over there?
Man, the school's hard as hell. School's hard, man.
Really?
Yeah, it's super hard. I think it's one of the top engineering schools in the country. They have a high rate of basically like not taking people in. Just because the school is just so hard and like you have to have like really, really crazy grades. But for me, I looked at that when I was getting ready to come out of high school and looked at the college and I was like, okay, this basketball thing don't work out. Like I got a really good degree where I can go wherever I want to go and do whatever I want to do. And Georgia Tech is, full of, multimillionaires, billionaires. I think one of the billionaires, I think Chris Klaus, he's heading up, I think he's like a big cybersecurity guy, but he's heading up the Create X program at Georgia Tech for kids who want to do their own thing as far as startups and stuff like that. It's been a really good program.
What was your major?
My major was business management.
Nice.
Yep.
How was that? Were you like any of your classmates like go on to be some of these people I described?
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't there long enough to even know. I was only in school for like 7 months. 7 months, and then I was gone. So for me, it was like it was like a blur. So it went from literally me going there in June, July, sometime after playing USA basketball in France, and then leaving school in April, May to start training for the draft. So
wow, so you were a quick one.
Yeah, it was very, 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 very quick. But the one thing I did learn was basically like how to kind of like organize and make sure that like I'm taking care of my business and doing what I need to do, because that was like technically like my first year of kind of like living alone. and like
Yeah.
not having somebody to like come behind me and pick up my clothes or to put me in a position to where like I can be successful, where they're doing all the extra work and I have to do nothing but hoop. So like I had to focus on a lot of
No.
different things, and it really put a lot of structure in my life. But I'm very thankful that I was able to go there, learn a lot from the people and the environment at Georgia Tech, but also learn a lot from my coaches, because everything was structured as like an NBA environment when I was there.
No, no doubt, no doubt. And we'll definitely cover sort of like your trajectory, off the court since then, especially with reform and what you're doing in venture, which is super fascinating. But before we do that, we got to check the box, man. Coming off year 17, how are your knees? How's your back? You started in Toronto for Phoenix. Talk about that process. I know it's not easy for guys to move, not only to teams, but from country to country in a season.
Yeah, I think this was I think like leaving Toronto and then going to the place I needed to go to next was harder than the usual, but I also had a little bit of time. So like once I got traded to Brooklyn and then was waived by Brooklyn and then decided to sign to Phoenix, I had maybe a week or a week and a half to kind of like gather my things and gather my thoughts. So I was able to come home for a few days, train at my house, and do a bunch of different stuff as far as getting myself ready for the rest of the season. But it was definitely difficult just because like being in Toronto, I've never been in a place where I was so close to the States but felt so far.
Yeah.
It's crazy being out there, but
Wow.
but it's unbelievable
atmosphere
just because like the people and how much they love basketball, how much they love us as the Toronto Raptors. When I was there, I think that was really a great experience for me, and not only just me, but my wife and my kids as well. But it was a really good experience.
Toronto's a little bit different.
Yeah,
I heard Lou Williams talk about this a little bit, but I might be completely off here, but don't you have to, create a bank account over there? Isn't the money transferred differently since you're an American citizen? How does that work?
So I was over there for a couple years. So for me, when you're getting say for instance, you get an apartment and you have utilities at your apartment and stuff like that, you have to have a Canadian bank account to do a lot of different things over there. For me, I never got a Canadian bank account. I just included everything into my rent. So I would just do one wire transaction to my landlord, which was super, super cool. He was just kind of like, all right, we can just do a wire transaction, boom, 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 and call it a day. That way you don't have to get.
Is that not the?
No, it's not.
Is that not the obvious thing for guys to do?
Yeah, but a lot of people want you to put the utilities and cable and stuff in your name. Even with cable, their cable is completely different than our cable. They have I forgot the name of their cable, but they don't have Spectrum and Comcast and AT&T over there. So you're getting different cable feeds and stuff like that. And then you have to use a VPN for a lot of the stuff that you want to watch from the States. So that was difficult.
That good old VPN, man.
Yeah, it was
Jesus.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And then just moving around, getting in and out of the country was it was a little bit tedious, but it was worth it. Being in the NBA and stuff like that. I didn't like the fact that every single time we left the country, we had to go through the airport, and it's just bad because all other teams, they're moving freely and doing a bunch of stuff, right? And then you're spending hours in the airport when you shouldn't have to, and it's kind of the other teams are getting one up on you because they're getting more rest, more sleep, going through the airport,
Yeah.
and kind of not going through the airport. They're going private, and you have to go through the airport to get on your plane.
Yeah. No doubt. But that home court advantage could be good.
I mean, yeah.
But I mean,
it's just
yeah, but nah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't think any of our flights took off on time. So we'll have a 2 o'clock flight right after practice, And
Damn.
I don't think any of our flights took off on time. I think we always left at like 4 or 5 o'clock.
Okay. The more you know, man. That's something that like you don't just hear. So that's pretty cool. Can you fast forward to Phoenix, man? I'm curious, like how was it? Obviously, you didn't have maybe the season that the Suns wanted, but just being in the same locker room as Katie, Book, Beal, talk about those, like how that dynamic was, the work ethic. I mean, I know you work your tail off, and just being around those guys, I'm sure the gym lights were always on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, every single day is just continuous work. Those guys are championship type guys. So like, you have D Book, who's always in the gym working. Obviously, we know what K does. He continuous worker each and every day. Brad is a unbelievable worker, always in the weight room, always on the court, doing things. And then that kind of is a good mix for like the younger guys. So younger guys seeing guys working that hard at their ages, and doing the work that it takes to, potentially compete every single night. It just makes everybody want to go harder and makes everybody want to be better. So we got a lot of like retention on anything that we decided to do as a team because, of the way those guys work and the way they kind of led the team. I think, my hat goes off to, Brad Beal. Like, he fought through injury, for a good bit of the season, but, he sacrificed a lot of his game as well, playing with, Book and K, and then like trying to facilitate as a point guard, which he's not a point guard. So, he made the necessary sacrifices for us to win some basketball games. And I think, those guys, going forward, I think they'll all see the sacrifices that's been made is going to have to be made by, everybody on the team, not just Book and K, but, everybody on down the line. And I think that's how the team gets better and the team continues to grow. And then when you're looking at this situation, it's a first year type situation, right? So you got the first
Sure.
full year with, K, and the first full year with, Brad on the team. So, it's a recipe for a good start.
I think, I think it's unfair when even like super teams. I mean, obviously you're supposed to win immediately, but to throw people together for a couple of months and expect them to win NBA championship, like Miami didn't win their first year when the Heatles were together. Like it's just not realistic. It's tough.
It's a very unrealistic goal. Some people can do it because they come together and do it, the way they're supposed to. But let's take in for instance, right? The Celtics, right? Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have been going to the Eastern Conference Finals for, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, right? And they went to one finals and they lost it, but it gave them the cheat sheet to get back. And that hunger and desire to get back after losing to, I think they lost to Golden State. So after losing to like Golden State in the championship, that desire and, and that motivation and determination got them back to the finals to win one. And, I think, those things, like obviously like K and Book them, they're, K is, 36 years old, about to be 36 years old, and played 17 years in the NBA. And Book is already at 9 or 10 years, and same thing for Brad. So, those guys are a little bit later in their careers, but, they don't have, a 6 or 7 year window as like those guys do. And, Boston can potentially, run the table and win, 2 or 3 more, if, obviously they keep that team together or, and they can be kind of like a Golden State.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's really good insight. And, really cool again. And while you're saluting these guys, I got to salute you for sticking it at 17 years, man. Uncle Thaddeus out here still thriving, man.
Yeah.
Home gym, still going at it.
Hey, man, look, the biggest thing is just continuously working and believing that you can work, over and over and you can keep doing the same thing. I think it's not about the question is never going to be, can I still hoop? Or can we still hoop as guys who are veterans and stuff like that? It's more so about how much of this we can take. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
The mental mindset is the once your mental mindset leaves the game, then that's when it's time to be done.
And another way of saying that is like you're mentally preparing. You got to handle the practices. Like the games are easy, right? But like it's the practice, the travel, being away from your family. Can you handle that another year? That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah. So like that's always going to be, everything that comes with it. Like, like you have the younger guys who are, just getting into their careers, but they don't have, families. They haven't, they haven't been walking out the door for 17 years, and all your family is seeing is you walking in and out of the door. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
so
sure.
so that starts to play a big factor, because you realize, like in the summers, I realize how much time that I miss with my sons. I realize how much time I miss with my wife. So like me realizing that, like it starts to kind of outweigh the playing aspect of it, because it starts to mentally take a toll on it, because like you start getting into this AAU environment and watching your son play, and you start getting into, all these different things that you and your wife are doing. You're like, man, this is kind of fun. I'm not worrying about, I'm not worrying about like hooping. I'm not worrying about practicing. I'm not worrying about playing. I'm just having fun and just living life. So
you got your popcorn and chirping a little bit. It's great.
Right. So with me, it's like you start to realize those things, and it's like, do I still want to do this a little bit? But my passion is still there for basketball. And I think my wife and
I see you.
My wife and kids
you
are
in
the
the
same
gym
way.
with your sons and your family.
Yeah. I still I love the game, and when I start to lose love for the game, then that's when I start shifting away from it.
100%, man. 100%. Well, salute to that, man. And it's amazing that you still have that passion and still have started up your off the court endeavors with a reform. Let me ask you this: you ever compare venture portfolios with KD?
No, but we've had a couple conversations about some different stuff that we've been looking into or diving into. But never really compare. I don't really like comparing. I like.
You never joke about like I got more unicorns in the portfolio than you do. Like
we never get into that. We're more like me and Kay have been friends. We've been friends since like 8th, 9th grade. So because me and we're the same high school class, McDonald's All-Americans together, Jordan MVP game together. So we were co-MVPs of that game. So it's just like for us, like that relationship has been just pure friendship, not really anything business related. We're more talking to each other and having like those deep conversations about life and our families and stuff like that more so.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, what he's done with Boardroom and 35 Ventures, I mean, very impressive, man. I mean, have you at least maybe you haven't talked to him directly, but have you taken bits and pieces for how they handle their stuff and sort of apply it to what you're doing?
Yeah, no, for sure. You always want to get better at what you're doing. But I think it's also about like how you develop your own process, right? So like for me, like obviously like Kay's platform is way bigger than my platform, right? So he has, where he can get to just about anybody. Me, I can get to, most of everybody, but not everybody. But
hey man, you got to athletes and assets, man. You're on the right track.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're here. Welcome.
Right. So for me, I think like making smart investments was like me putting together my own team, just kind of like he did, and then like having those people who can actually like vet the deals and do all the work that's needed to be done behind the scenes. But I know one thing for sure, like me, like I'm diving into all of our deals. So whatever deals like we get out of the stack, out of the pile, like we're looking at 30, 40, 50 deals a month, and we might pick 3 or 4 of the companies that we really like or that we think can move into the next stage with us. And those 3 or 4 companies, I'm looking at those 3 or 4 companies, and I'm going doing deep dives and due diligence, on them myself, talking to founders, talking to some of their partners, and talking to some of the different people that they have on the cap table and stuff like that. So, just developing your own rapport with these companies and developing your own method for due diligence and diving into data rooms and stuff like that, kind of puts you in a certain situation where you can kind of like look at and find, what company can be the next unicorn or what company can be the next big thing.
Reform, early stage venture capital firm run by Mr. Thaddeus Young. Thad, when did you, okay, there's real estate, there's fashion, there's crypto, obviously tech. Like, why VC? Like, what was it about venture capital that made you really focus on it?
Man, honestly, it's super fun. It's a super fun business model, business tool. It's very risky, obviously. So you have to figure out how to like ways to mitigate your risk. I figured out ways to mitigate my risk through like late stage investing, and then kind of like taking like those gains and putting those towards early and growth stage opportunities. And then like obviously like doing syndications and letting people invest with me and investing with others. And then like investing into funds, like just diversifying the portfolio across the board, but also like I said, forming that due diligence process where I can look at all these companies and then see which ones are like best. But, I built a team. I have a really good team. I have my business manager who's actually my fund manager as well. And she happens to be my cousin. She's a developer by trade. She has an MIT degree. Her name is Tara Hernandez.
Wow.
So she
shout out Tara, yeah, MIT.
Yeah, she's a rock star, man. She does great. And then having a investment analysis guy who all he does is look at all our deals. Having that team with him that he's kind of spearheading that, Charles Barclay, and then having my law firm retain
different from Barclay.
Yeah, different from Barclay. And then having a law firm retain as well. I think that to look over all the legal docs. So I just put everything in place that I already was having for me investing into different businesses or companies and stuff already, and just kind of made it into my own company with the VC, and it's done very well.
I mean, 2018, is that when you started the venture arm?
Man, I lost track. I mean, it's around that way somewhere. I really don't keep up with the years. I'm more so looking at the success of the portfolio and how it's done over the course of time. Which has been really good. And our companies are still thriving and surviving and doing really good in this temperature. So it's been good.
No, absolutely. We'll definitely dive into some of your portcos so we can give them some shine and talk about why you invested, et cetera. But I bring up the year that you started because, I mean, you started pre-pandemic, right? So you started in like around 2018, right? And then you got to the pandemic, you saw inflationary prices on early stage companies and the rounds. And then now it's like dipped in many ways. And then, now we're at the current stage of venture. But throughout these years, man, like you've seen a lot in a very short period of time.
No, for sure. I mean, I think like when I was in Indiana, I was really, really like diving into it and getting into it a lot. And then like once, probably post pandemic, I kind of like jumped into it and was really like, cause I was seeing a bunch of companies that was like, they could have been like super high valuation companies, but they were in need of money. So they was like low valuations. Right. And when I was looking at those low valuations, I was like, man, I can, throw some money here. I can put some here, so it was really good. And then like, and I was just like, man, like this is getting crazy. And then, I just like started like letting people know I was open for shop. And once you let people know you're open for shop, then you start seeing so much deal flow. And then I started like a partnership with a couple different funds. So Next Play was one. Outlander Labs with Paige Craig, and then also did some stuff with JP Morgan Chase, and then another fund was really good to us was man, it's slipping my brain right now.
Shout out that fund.
Yeah, I know.
Must have been a memorable impression.
It's been a lot. Like we have relationships with a bunch of different funds. That's been really good to us. Josh. First round capital. First round capital.
First round, of course.
Yeah, first round capital.
Big time.
Josh Kaufman. Shout out to Josh. He actually helped me like up my my deal flow. And the way he helped me up my deal flow was basically like So he put me into this cohort group called Angel Track. And First Round Capital
Okay.
They do this like 3 or 4 times a year where you have a whole cohort group of new entrepreneurs or new people who want to kind of get into the VC space, who works for all these Fortune 500 companies, that wants to start diving into the space. They all get into this 8 to 12 week course, and we start to learn everything about like venture capital. Even though like I already had one up on everybody because I knew it already. It upped.
Yeah, you came in with a little experience,
Yeah.
little portfolio.
Yeah, it upped my deal flow because all these people who are in these Fortune 500 companies, they see deals all the time. So we all now are in a community or in a family through First Round Capital where we see deals like on like spreadsheets. So we might see deals through this portal that First Round Capital has. It's kind of like Facebook. And the portal basically like shows us like all the different deals that's going down, or like we might get a blast email out, and that blast email might go to everybody who's took a cohort group, right? And we're looking at these deals, and we're able to see all the due diligence and everything right then and there, like in real time. So it's put us in a really good position because like we were already seeing like maybe 10, 15 deals a month, but like through that cohort group, it upped it to like 40. So it was like man, like we seeing all this deal flow, and these like really good deals. So you're like, damn, I don't want to pass up on this one. But then you can't invest into every deal, right? So you have to like now pull the ones that look really good, talk to the founders, and then kind of go through it that way.
Did you get into the? So I'm looking at the Reform portfolio right now. It's looking ridiculous, and you've seen I've made some videos about this.
That's not even an updated one. Since I think we haven't.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we haven't updated that joint in like a year, maybe. So maybe a year and a half.
Sheesh. Okay. Well, pre-website update, which I encourage the Reform team to make some updates if that's the case.
Hey, when you're working, you don't have time to update a website.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Well, it's important for us, but like, like you're behind the scenes, like Venture's mostly behind the scenes. So that makes total sense.
Does the website look good?
Yeah. Solid.
It's solid. Okay. I did it.
Okay.
I did it.
You made the website?
Yeah. I put it together. I had a little free time on my hands. I think we had just lost in the playoffs, and then I started putting the website together.
So you didn't even outsource to like a web designer?
No, because I was bored.
Wow, okay. I'm impressed. So now I'm curious about this. Do you use like Webflow or Wix or Squarespace? Like, what'd you design this on?
GoDaddy. So GoDaddy has templates.
GoDaddy.
Yeah, it has templates. It's just plug and play.
Damn. Okay. But quick trivia, because now you got me on this tangent. Former CEO of GoDaddy, Scott Wagner, former Yale football player, was on the podcast a couple years ago. So we talked a little GoDaddy.
Nice.
So I'm impressed that you built this website, first of all.
Thank you.
And even if you haven't updated it, I'm looking at some of the. So we're talking Heliogen, Airbnb, Lyft, Lime, LifeAge, Shoot 36, Noble, Tonal. Are you getting access through the other funds that you're allocating capital into, or some of these direct?
So some of them are direct, and then some of them was obviously like some of them in the first few you just said were like late stage companies that I got deep discounts on, where people needed some liquidity, so I was able to kind of be right there with the liquidity, and then kind of jump into those deals before they went public. And then like some of them are through funds. Like I would go through a fund. Like I think we did Tunnel through NextPlay. So we were in the fund with NextPlay, and then we got a chance to co-invest alongside the fund directly into Tunnel. So it gave me a really good opportunity to do some co-invest. Like, so we don't invest into funds that don't let us co-invest.
Nice. So you get to put your stamp on it, like the Reform stamp, versus you just being an individual angel contributing to that syndicate.
Right.
I love that. Well, so Okay. So were any of them like the Airbnbs, the Limes? Um, and so you got Pinterest too. Jesus, man. I, are you are any of these are the ones I just named? Are they direct investments from Reform, or did you
So,
co-invest as well with?
so those were so
Uh,
so those were co-investments. Got a chance to co-invest, and then those
okay.
they went because I knew they was going public soon. So, I think we invested into most of those like maybe 18 months before they went public. But we got like at that time probably like 40-50% discounts on them. So
Okay.
we were able to kind of like buy in and get those deep discounts and co-invest alongside the fund, and it ended up paying out and being very well for us. Well, another company we did was DraftKings. DraftKings was very good for us. Coinbase was really good for us as well. So yeah,
Sheesh.
we've done some really good companies. Bloom Energy was okay. Wasn't one of the better ones, but Lyft was just okay. Wasn't one of the better ones, but the rest of them were really good for us and did a really good job.
So let me ask you this: why would an entrepreneur or a company take Thaddeus Young and Reform Ventures money? What do y'all bring to the table?
I mean, we bring a lot to the table. We know a bunch of people. We are really good, solid investors, and then we can bring some expertise and knowledge from several different factors and fields. And then but I think the networking aspect of it really gets them, and the fact that like I'm a basketball player that actually knows how to actually like invest. I think that's what really gets us over the top with a bunch of different founders and stuff like that. Like where, founders that say, "Oh, we want a $500,000 check," and I'd be like, "Man, I'm not giving y'all $500,000, but this is where we can help at, and this is what we can do. So let's have a couple conversations and build a decent relationship, and then we'll kind of go from there, and then figure out the check size later." And
Yeah.
usually I'm getting into these deals and not even having to put a bunch of money into them.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I mean, you're leveraging sounds like you have a beautiful combination of leveraging obviously your playing career, but also like this team around you that you've, carefully crafted and alongside.
The crazy part is I don't even leverage the basketball aspect of it. I'm more so leveraging the mind and the smarts aspect of it, like letting them know like yes, I know what I'm talking about. I think
Yeah. No,
that's more intriguing than me actually playing basketball, because I'm an athlete that actually knows how to actually handle business and knows how to invest into startups and knows like, the difference, looking at cap tables or looking at how much equity I can have into a company, or like the growth of a company over the course of time, or, or what that company can potentially do.
yeah, no, absolutely. Do you feel sometimes founders, entrepreneurs are surprised by how well versed you are in this?
All the time, literally all the time. I was just talking to a company
Wow.
not too long ago when I was in Phoenix. Shout out to John Lucas. He put me onto this company that's I think it's going to be really really good. Well, it's actually already really good. It's a cannabis company actually. It's called Shango.
Okay.
I don't smoke cannabis, but I know the industry is a really good industry if you do it the right way, and
Okay.
they are doing it the right way. So Shango is definitely going to be really, really good in the coming years as they continue to grow the business. They have a bunch of locations. They have partnerships with one of the biggest cannabis dispensaries, across Arizona, and they've been doing a bunch of really good things. And they're trying to grow and expand into several different markets. And I think they already have maybe 9 markets already with cultivations and dispensaries.
Wow. That's awesome. The cannabis is interesting for me. I don't really smoke I anymore. But it's interesting how it's being it's interesting from an investment perspective, the inflection point of becoming more adoptable recreationally across states that like typically never, like when I was growing up, whatever you would ever think they would accept cannabis in.
Right, right. No,
It's crazy.
no, it's a smooth company. I had a conversation with both founders, and they've done a phenomenal job in running that company. I believe they've got like offers like from multiple big cannabis company buyers, mergers, and acquisitions or whatever. But they've they've done great. They've done really good. That's probably the best setup I've seen. And I've seen a bunch of cannabis setups because, that was one of the spaces that we wanted to kind of diversify our portfolio in. Like I said, I'm not a
Wow.
cannabis smoker, but I understand the playing field. I understand the all the different verticals that it can touch.
Yeah. No, for sure. You also probably don't ride Lime scooters everywhere, but you knew it was a good deal and it made sense to
No, for
invest in
sure.
Lime, right? So it's the same thing.
No,
Same mindset.
that is a fact. That is a fact. Line was doing really, really good. They're actually doing really good overseas right now.
Okay.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job overseas and continuously building the company out.
So I know you do, and you start off later stage, right? So we're talking Series C plus growth rounds, co-investing with funds, getting into funds. On the earlier side of things, Thaddeus, from C to Series A, you've been a little bit active there, right? I guess I want to start here for the earlier stage companies. How do you evaluate an entrepreneur in their business? Like, walk me through your process of how you vet deal flow individually and as a team.
So typically when we get a deal or we see a deal that we think is very strong, we start to look at their partners. We start to look at who they're aligning themselves with and how those partners can actually help the company. And then we start to look at the background of the founder. Like, has he founded, any successful companies? Has he been a successful entrepreneur? Has he been successful in the business field that he's been in as far as his job? And then does he have the ability to kind of like not try to do everything, right? Because we know like these companies, they're not just ran by one person. They're always going to have,
Right.
Another individual that's behind the scenes that's doing a bunch of the work, maybe 10 individuals that's doing the work. And then like how strong is that founder as far as like how he kind of like looks and views at the company, and then his ability to pivot. Like if this happens, right? Like COVID happened and a lot of companies had to pivot and do different things. Do you have the ability to pivot and not be scared to pivot and to move into a different sector? Because your company might have to do a whole, 360 and go somewhere else.
180.
180 and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
so those are the type of ways that we kind of like look for like strong founders and strong teams and then, we want to see, obviously like with all that, we have to see like revenue as well, right? So we want to see, if the company is making, really good revenue and with a chance to kind of like exceed, profit margins that they've been currently doing, depending on what the company is. And then, cause, you have some companies that's not profitable, but they, if it's like an alcohol company, it's all about case volume and distributors and, and like how many stores you can be in, how many shelves you can be on and stuff like that. But, I'm well versed in a lot of different areas. So we look at all these different areas and we see, and then one thing we also do is we're not afraid to go out and seek help. So if it's one company that's in like, the biotech sector or something like that, like we'll go and find somebody who's in that sector to help us vet the deal. And we'll pay them a few bucks to kind of do it. If it's a consumer product, then we'll go find somebody who's a veteran in consumer products, and we'll pay them and say, hey, help us vet this deal. Because
wow, so you almost sometimes outsource vetting process to make sure you're getting full information.
Well, it just depends how far we get with it. It depends how far we get with the deal. So like another thing too is like we know a bunch of people in all these different sectors. So, like I said, First Round Capital really put us in a really good position to know a lot of people and to have a lot of relationships. So with us knowing a bunch of people, it just really helps us with our vetting process and helps us get all of our information quick, fast, in a hurry so we can make a quick decision. And then like some deals it's taking us a week to do. Some deals it's taking us 3, 4, 5, 6 months to do. But
Wow.
I'm fine with that because there's always going to be another deal out there.
I'm sure the entrepreneurs love the deals that take you 4 to 5, 6 months to get back to them on.
They hate it. They hate it. But I mean, it just depends on our process and then like what makes sense.
Yeah. No, no, absolutely, absolutely. I'm teasing you there. I know as a founder, I get both sides, right? So like, as a VC, especially if you're using other people's money, like you want to be really informed on the decision. You want to see how the founder reacts and if they acquire more traction since you talk to them. And as a founder, we're told, the best practice is like, you know, get to a decision as quick as possible,
Yeah.
because the more you wait and
Look,
allocate
look.
for someone who ain't gonna be there.
I don't even like looking at deals if they don't have a data room.
Oh, wow.
Like I hate looking at deals without data rooms because it's just too hard to like get all the information that you need to get from them if they don't have a data room set up. And then 9 times out of 10, if they don't have a data room set up, then that means they're not operating in the best capacity. Because most of the companies that do very well, they have a data room set up that they can immediately give you access to, so you can see everything on down the line. So
Yeah.
so I try to stick to our business model and what we do. But that's just like the first phase. Like the second phase is like going through legal documents, and some of these legal documents are very, very crazy. And, and to save yourself a bunch of heartache, and pain on the back end, you just pay for it in the front end and you fix everything in the front end. So, I have my legal team look over everything.
Legal documents in terms of the safe, or like the investment document, or legal documents in terms of how the company's built.
No. The safe and the investment vehicles. But even like with some of the legal, like we've had to sign NDAs, and sometimes we don't even sign NDAs, just because of like how the structure of the NDA is. Like you can get sued for anything, right? And then and then we've also looked at some companies where we've signed the NDAs, and then they had a bunch of contracts in their data room that were signed for them to like do work with other companies, and those didn't make sense. And we've like, you know what, we don't want to do this.
Wow, man, that's you guys have a thorough process.
Super thorough. Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's risk. So it's a bunch of risk being put out there with not just my money, but other people's money as well. So you want to make sure that you have all the educated decisions and all the educated answers and everything that needs to be made to be able to present either an investor or myself with the best foot forward.
What's the earliest stage you invest in? Seed? Is that?
Yeah. We've done like probably say like shit, when it was just an idea. We've done that before.
So I mean, there's no data room there, right? So like, what are you evaluating at the earliest stage? You just the track record of the founder?
I would say this. Track record of the founder, and then like who their business partners are, and then like how much money they've raised. Because the one thing we don't do is we don't lead. We've never led. We've always made sure that whatever company that we invest into, we were like some of the last ones to drop a check in.
Got you. No one wants to be first to the party.
Yeah, but we love deals that don't need us. Like deals that's oversubscribed, that don't need us, that, if we get in, we're getting in because we built that relationship with the founder, and we've taken a little bit of the piece that he held on the side for somebody.
I like that. That's a very, I appreciate the honesty, because a lot of funds will be like, we're first check in, we're first conviction. You're like, look, we need to make sure you're hot first. All right. Like we can smell if you're cold.
Yeah, we don't do first checks, because you start doing the first check and all this other stuff. It's a possibility that they can come back to you and say, hey, we need another 500,000. We need another 250,000. You're like, no. And then you lost 250,000 because you ain't giving them the money. You want that,
no doubt.
you want that lead to be like a next play or a first round or, a Bain Capital, a Lightspeed, A16Z. You want them to be the first, and let them kind of lead it. And then you kind of just jump in on the backside and be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna ride your coattail a little bit on down the line.
Yeah, no. You get started. I'm right behind you. I'm right behind you. Are you, is it all managed under your assets, or do you have limited partners in Reform? And how big is your fund?
So we have Reform Ventures, which is me. And then we have, another, company kind of like on the side that me and my fund manager, kind of like invest into, and we kind of split that up. But then we also, when somebody wants to invest with us, so we can keep all of the legal documents down, we do side letters with those people. And so they'll come, so you
have a little syndicate aspect.
Yeah. So they come in at, with us, and then we just do a side letter. So we'll get the lawyers to draw up a contract between us and just say, okay, we're putting in this check size and you own this percentage of this check size. And then, we'll charge some people we do 10%, some people we do 20%. It just depends on the relationship that we have there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool. Can you give me an example of maybe a founding story or a founder of a portfolio company you're pleased about, and you talk about that first interaction, and what did you see?
I'm going to tell you about my first time meeting Lance Collins, which is the founder of Core Water, Body Armor, and all those different companies.
Okay.
So he's 6 for 6.
Sure.
He's 6 for 6 in beverages. So it being sold.
Good shooting percentage.
Yeah, good shooting percentage. So he has not failed yet. But he was unaware that I was an investor into all three of his companies that he has going on right now, which is and the reason why he was unaware is because I went in through a syndicate. And this is how I actually end up getting on the cap table directly. we were in Houston playing a game. I was with Toronto at this time, and he gets on the elevator and he's like, man, I'm here doing this. He started like pitching to me, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. I said, but I'm already invested into this. Oh, seriously? And we're on the elevator, and he's like, man, I'm so sorry. He was like, and I'm like, man, it's cool. I was like, I invested through somebody else, and I told him who I invested through.
No, dude, no, he did not pitch you. Yeah. We were already an investor.
Yeah, I told him, I said, yeah, I'm actually an investor into this company and this company and this company. He was like, oh, you're in all three. I was like, yeah, I'm in all three. It's like I put a nice check size into all three. I felt like this was very strong. So
come on, Lance.
So now we end up having a really good relationship now. Just because like of that crazy elevator story. Like he was there pitching RJ Barrett. So he was pitching RJ Barrett and a couple other my teammates. And when he got on, he was like, yeah, he was like, we was just talking, just having a regular conversation. But the crazy part was like, I didn't even know that was him until I actually, because he had longer hair this time, so I didn't even know that was him until he actually showed me the beverages, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm already in that.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
I cannot imagine pitching someone, selling my soul on this pitch, and then they go, I'm already invested in you, dude.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh my gosh.
But
that's a good story.
Yeah, he's great though. Like I love Lance. I think he's done a phenomenal job and kind of like just getting cheat sheet on like how to get these beverages like up and running and then sold. Like he knows how to do it.
Wow.
Like it's nobody.
Yeah, well, shout out Lance.
It's nobody better than him right now.
Okay, that's awesome, man. Well, this is awesome. I really really diverse portfolio from yourself and Reform. So huge shout out there, man. Last question, we'll get out of here. 5 years from now, where would you like to see the Reform Ventures portfolio?
I mean, with the most success out of anybody's portfolio, having several unicorns, obviously, and having a strong, successful, portfolio with, tons and tons of companies doing very well, and just giving everybody the cheat sheet on how I did it. And then me kind of like, obviously like spearheading and just showing like, and just giving everybody the blueprint. One thing about it, like for me, if I have the information, I'm never going to withhold the information. I'll give you the information just because like, knowledge should be free. It should be free and it should be there for everybody to learn, especially like my brothers in the NBA. Like, all those guys, like I want to see the most successful, everybody, just because like it's only, 450 of us each and every year. And, this is an opportunity to do something outside of basketball, outside of the norm. And it gives people an opportunity to show people that, we're more than just athletes. We know how to manage our assets and manage everything that we own. And we're doing a very good job of just being those businessmen that we need to be.
And that's why we do this, man. Athletes and Assets. This has been another great episode with NBA veteran, former Georgia Tech alum, and VC, Thaddeus Young, Reform Ventures. Thaddeus, man, thanks so much for joining the pod. This is awesome.
Yep, no problem. You see how I threw athletes and assets in there.
Yeah. I like that. I like it. That's what we need more of that. A little integration, from the guests themselves. I love that, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, yeah, it's been really good though. Like, I like doing VC. VC is, it's a slow space that's coming back right now. But I've been having to focus on a lot of other things. I have a bunch of other companies that I'm growing and running right now outside of the VC space. Like I have a trucking company and delivery company and stuff like that. So it's just a bunch of stuff that I got going on.
Hey, when you're ready, come back on and we'll talk about the next venture.
Oh, for sure. Anytime. Just let me know.